here, and today I am going to be reviewing The Umbrella Academy, the Netflix original series. Now, I'm going to start this off with a big old spoiler warning because it's actually surprisingly hard to talk about this series without spoiling something, and I am going to spoil pretty much everything in this review. So this is your one and only spoiler warning. Do not go into the comments now and tell me that I spoiled everything for you because, hey, I warned you. Anyway, The Umbrella Academy is a series on Netflix based on a comic book written by Gabriel and Gerard, and it's actually pretty cool. Basically, the plot is, and strap yourselves in because this is kind of a wild ride, 43 women magically give birth despite not being pregnant, and they all give birth at the same time. Reginald Hargreaves, who may or may not be an alien, he definitely has a spaceship, travels around the world trying to gather up all 43 of these mystical magical children that have been born. He gets 7 of them. They are number 1, Luther, who is super strong. Number 2, Diego, he throws knives. 3, Allison, who has a compulsive voice. 4, Klaus, who speaks to the dead. 5, whose powers are teleportation and pure sarcasm. 6 is Ben, who has all sorts of Cthulhu-like monsters hidden under his skin. And last but not least, we have number 7, Vanya, who is completely normal. She's really good at playing the violin though. Remember that, it'll come in handy later. Skip ahead a few years, and Klaus is a drug addict, Allison is a movie star, Luther is half gorilla, God knows why. 5 is missing, Ben is dead, and no one is really speaking to one another. What a surprise. Lo and behold, Daddy Hargreaves dies and everyone has to go back to his funeral, including, oddly enough, 5, who has been trapped in an apocalyptic future, which they now have 8 days to save. Oh, I told you it was a wild ride, guys. Now, I am not saying that this is the best plot in the world. It is kind of predictable. I did manage to guess a lot of the plot points. For example, I knew that there was going to be some shenanigans around Daddy Hargreaves' death. I guessed that Vanya was going to have powers because, hey, she's the only one at the superhero school that doesn't have powers. That means she definitely has powers. And I also guessed that Luther was almost definitely the bad guy on account of him being far too normal compared to everybody else. But the predictability of the plot didn't actually ruin my enjoyment of it at all because it is still so much fun. The Umbrella Academy is a deconstruction of the superhero genre while also being kind of a parody of it as well, but in a very affectionate way, which is great because it means that it's fun and it does have a sense of humor at times as well, which other superhero media can sometimes be sorely lacking. Either they're too focused on being the next Batman Begins and being grimdark and gritty, or they're too focused on being action movies with high stakes. Whereas sometimes I just want to sit down and have a little bit of fun, and I did have a lot of fun with The Umbrella Academy to the point where I watched all 10 episodes in one day. I have a problem, please do not judge me. There were some plot points that I didn't like, particularly Allison and Luther's romantic relationship. It was just a bit squicky to me. Do people still say squick? Is that still a thing that exists in fandom? But anyway, basically Allison and Luther, despite being raised as brother and sister from basically birth, end up having a romantic relationship, and it's kind of gross. It kind of doesn't sit well with me, and I don't think it sits well with a lot of the fandom, to be honest with you, because I've seen people all over my Tumblr complaining about it. And my other least favorite part of the plot is actually the last 5 minutes of the show. Everything is really good minus Allison and Luther up until the last 5 minutes, which, considering all of the build up for the apocalypse and the sequence before it where Vanya truly comes into her powers, the ending itself is a little bit weak. Basically, it just ends up with them all going back in time with 5, so they are all adults inside their children's bodies. Please don't ask me to explain it, just 5 traveled back in time, he did a miscalculation, he is now a 58-year-old man inside a 13-year-old's body. And the guy who plays 5, Aidan Gallagher, does a really good job of portraying a 58-year-old man trapped in a 13-year-old's body and all of the bitterness and sarcasm that would come from that. And it's only made better when you consider the fact that he's actually only 15 himself, so he is obviously a really old soul because he does a fantastic job. All of the performances are actually really good as well, but his is kind of the standout for me. But anyway, that kind of got a bit off topic. The ending is kind of weak. I kind of didn't enjoy it at all, but I am interested to see where it is going to go for season 2 because it has been picked up for season 2, which is great because it means I get to sit down and watch 10 hours of lovely superheroes again. Yay! I do seriously have a problem. Overall though, Umbrella Academy is really enjoyable. If you like a sort of sarcastic, kind of dark humor that's also a deconstruction of superhero tropes themselves, then you'll really like The Umbrella Academy. I do highly recommend that you watch it. And that is it for this review, because I'm just going to start rambling about the plot and I won't be able to make it make any more sense than I have already tried to. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you guys are going to watch The Umbrella Academy, do let me know in the comments below. And as always, you can join me next Friday at 8 for the next video.